What is up, party people? You know, I always start this show off by showing love to those companies who help make this podcast possible. First and foremost, you know who it is, my friends over at BLUON. Guys, BLUON 2.0 has been released and it is absolutely amazing. They listen to us. They listen to everyone. They came out with something, and as soon as they came out with it, people said, oh, you can make this better. Most people would say, F you, this is already awesome. But no, they listened. They went back to the drawing board and said, you know what? We're going to make it better. And damn if they didn't. It is so simple to check availability for parts. You literally put in a model number. If any of you already got your hat, if you haven't, do that. Just by doing that, you can check and see how easy this is. If you enter the model number, GSX, HAT, the number 4U. So GSX hat 4U. Get your free hat. There's only limited supply left. There was only 30,000 from the get-go, and there's 150,000+ people already in the BLUON community. So I don't know how many of those are left. But even if you don't get a hat, the app is amazing. I've had BLUON here for the last several days. Mr. Vinny, HVAC Super Tech, as well as Mr. Jeremy Williams. Also Mr. Mark, that's also in tech support. Been having an amazing time. They literally taught our team how to use it, how to go through it, gave away some prizes. It's been so much fun. I have some videos out. We've been testing it, literally ordering things and using BLUON's delivery live. Just how you order a sandwich, your lunch, your dinner, and you see your sub on the way to you. See the driver? Well, guess what? You can order your parts that way and get it just like that. You can check and see all the cross references. Oh, hey, I need this OEM motor. Oh, well, now your supplier goes, hey, well, I don't have this one, but I have this other motor that will work with that system. It simplifies it, guys. It is so awesome. All I ask is you try it out. If you try it out, you will see what everybody is talking about. And when I tell you that BLUON knocked it out of the effing park, I tell you they knocked it out of the effing park with this one, okay? So go download the BLUON app and mess with it. Try it. It is absolutely amazing. Next, let's see. Guys, my friends over at Yellow Jacket. As most of you know, I'm a second-generation HVAC tech, 20+ years in the trade, but I always think back to those days working with my dad that I cherish so much. My dad always said, your tools are an extension of yourself. If you buy quality tools and take care of them, they'll take care of you. Most of the time, you only have to buy them once. Well, that brand that I look back to is Yellow Jacket. They've been making quality products for 70 years and counting, making them right here in the US of A. If you're looking for a quality tools that you can depend on and get the job done, then look no further than Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket has been trusted by my family for generations now, and we don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Remember, 70 years of expertise built into every tool. Like I tell you guys, Yellow Jacket isn't always the fanciest. You know, it doesn't always look the best sitting in your truck, but god damn it, when you need it to do what you bought it for, it does it. It's durable and it works. And their customer service is bar none one of the best. All right. Real fast, last but not least, I have to talk about my friends at FIELDPULSE if their website pops up. Sorry about that. Guys, rated the number one HVAC field service management and the number one for both ease of use and customer service. FIELDPULSE is the solution you need to accelerate your business. Still operating off pen and paper? FIELDPULSE keeps track of your customers, estimates, invoices, and work orders digitally, helping you gain visibility in every aspect of your business. The FIELDPULSE scheduling features help you keep track of your techs, their jobs, and their current location while out in the field. FIELDPULSE has maintenance agreements and the good, better, best proposal tool included in the platform. If you do commercial work, there's a project management feature that helps you with the long-term work. On average, businesses grow 60% within their first year after signing up with FIELDPULSE. Start your 7-day free trial and take your business to the next level with FIELDPULSE today. Guys, if you click my link, they have a special running for May that if you buy it annually, you get 25% off. If you do the monthly, you will get 10% off. So click the link. If you go into the show notes of this, all the sponsors are listed. Click that link and you can get that deal. And I'm always honest with you guys. You know that we do not use FIELDPULSE at Beltway. I'm not going to lie to you because that's not my decision. I don't own the company. I help in that decision, but that's Ryan's. But I will say I have a demo account that I have messed with every day. I have a fake little company going here, to be honest with you. And I like it. It really has a lot of cool features. Am I going to say that it's the best of the best? No. But what you get for the money that you get and their customer service, it's pretty fucking awesome. I'm going to say that. It's pretty awesome. I like a lot of things they do, and I like the way that they do it. So if you're out there, you're not sure what to do, you don't want to spend the money of the big boys, trust me when I say go get a demo from FIELDPULSE, and you'll be happy. All right? Let's go with this pledge and get on with the show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the United States, and thank you to all those men and women who defend it.
Five, four, three, two, one, go. Welcome to the number one rated HVAC podcast. If you're looking to grow in the HVAC industry, then you're in the right spot. Blue collar people talking about blue collar shit. Let's get better together. So turn up the volume, buckle your seatbelt, and let's welcome your host, Gil KV Jr.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. I'm your host, Gil KV Jr., here on another Wednesday night, another hump day, HVAC Uncensored Podcast night. Guys, thank you for coming. Another Wednesday. Like I said in the sponsor reads, it's been an awesome week, man. BLUON has been here with me, working with the team. I've been hanging out with them. We may or may not have been drinking bourbon last night, but it was an amazing time. Absolutely love those guys. I love BLUON, and I love that partnership. All seriously, dude, check out BLUON 2.0. It is fucking amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Hello to some people real fast. Obviously, some of my moderators, Mr. HVAC Rookie, my main man, my brother from another mother, Mr. Jimmy, HVAC Teacher. Who else do we have in here? Let's see, Mr. Haja B, how are you? Good to see you. Mr. Neil C. Vids, how are you, my friend? Jason Johnson, what is up, my brother? Great show on the Misfits last week. Good to see your face finally, buddy. I know you're human. Let's see. I think that's all I see right now. If anybody else comes in, thank you. Guys, I have a great show tonight, man. Like, I'm not one of those computer gadget guys. I mean, yes, I've taught myself like audio and video when it comes to the podcast. And, at Beltway, we try to stay one step ahead of the curves, when it comes to business. When you're growing, you got to compete with everybody else out there. So you have to know what's going on, the latest and greatest and stuff like that. And we use some forms of AI, but I know that this is the future and you go in a rabbit hole and this stuff gets crazy. I was just telling our guests that my good friends Terse Blissett and Joshua Crouch from the Service Business Mastery podcast, they were talking about this with me at AHR. You might have heard the conversation, rookie. And people really, really love this stuff, and it's amazing what it could do. So I was super excited when our guest and their team reached out to me as far as what they do. For one, of what it involves, the Chat GPT side, also the service that they offer. From a company that's kind of grow, and we take our 5.0 rating very, very seriously, and that has to do with your customer service, your reviews, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna start running my big mouth, guys. Without further ado, please help me um, uh, introduce my guest. It is called getdandy.com. It is going to be a Mr. Alex Bellini. Hello, boss.
Hey, Gil, thanks for having me. What's up, everybody? Happy to be here. Happy to
Yeah,
chat with y'all.
yeah, man. Thank you so much for being here. I know we a little bit about what we talked off air and stuff like that. If you want to let everybody know, I guess a little bit about you, and let's get into let them know like what Dandy is. What is it? What does it do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in this tech space for the past 15 years or so. I grew up in the small business world. My folks didn't own an HVAC company, but we owned a small auto body shop down in San Diego, California. So
Yeah.
I grew up in that space. The company that we started here a couple years ago, it's called Dandy, getdandy.com. And like the mission we set out to solve is how do we apply technology to identify like if an online review is legitimate or not, right? And if it isn't, then let's help businesses programmatically remove them, dispute them without any work needed on their part. And that's like a huge problem. Like we can get into it, but like we saw in our auto shop growing up, like ridiculous competitors writing reviews, people that aren't customers writing fake reviews, stuff like that. What's up, HVAC rookie? San Diego in the house. I like it. It's
Yeah,
good, man.
Jason
Our
Johnson. I'm from
shop.
San Diego. Hell yeah, 619 for life.
Yeah, I like it, man. Our shop is down in Kearney Mesa. You know where Kearney Mesa is, down there. We have 35 years. Um, we had that place, but yeah, I mean, that's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. We see it in like tons of different industries. It's like the hard problem in this like online review reputation space. And nobody wanted to solve it. Like, so great. We figured it. We're figuring it out. And we use AI to do it. And this tech wasn't around a couple years ago, so we can get into how that works and more generally how we see our customers in the HVAC space use this technology, use AI in general, more specifically to combat this problem. It's massive in the HVAC space. We can talk about that more, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, anyways, sorry, long answer to your really short question there.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I mean, because you know, we're a company that's only a little under 5 years old, and we're 6-7 million dollar company and 5-star rating, and
Mhm.
reviews has been huge for us. Getting customers to, share their experience, because nowadays people hop on Google, they're searching, and, the more reviews and stuff like that you get, your how many 5 stars you have starts to get you bumped up as far as how people search for you. And I see it. You have people that they don't even live in our state, and they're leaving us a 1-star review, and it's like, ma'am, sir, like we've never serviced you. I'm sorry you had a problem, but it wasn't us. You don't even live in our state. And the
Mhm.
other thing is you have people nowadays that they know how important reviews are and they use it as ransom. You can go out and do the
Yeah.
best service possible, and they're going to leave you a 1-star review, hoping you call them like, hey, I'll give you some money back if you take the review down. But you almost have to, because that 1-star review, like, yeah, it might cost you $500 to give back to them, but if you don't, it's going to cost you way more than $500 if you leave it up there. You know what I mean? It's scary that people kind of got you by the cojones.
Yeah, 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 definitely. And like what we see a lot too in this space is, oh, I called to schedule and nobody got back to me, or I had an issue scheduling. And it's like, that is like, that's not like, if you were a scheduling company, that would be a legitimate review. You know what I mean? It's not your business, right? So, like, that's a terms of service violation. Those can get removed very easily. Like, there's a lot there. So, like, we're talking like AI, like we have a huge like language model that scores all these reviews, looks at the contributor profile, their past review history, then the context of the review, like that, that subject, helps determine if it's legit or not, and then we help programmatically then remove them from the sites, right? So it's like, let us come in and do this, scan it, score it, help dispute it, so you don't need to worry about it. And like we notify our customers before they even know, and by the time we've notified them, um, like, hey, we're already working with Google or working with Yelp or whichever site and helping remove it. um, Another thing too, like with these review sites, like the local SEO stuff matters, right? And one thing they look at is, hey, volume of reviews, how many reviews do you have? But then, hey, are you responding to all these reviews, right? And so it's like a full-time job. It's like you got to look at the reviews, you got to ask for more reviews, you got to respond to them. And so we're like, okay, how can we solve that? So we actually use Chat GPT. We use their API to reply to every review, and it's done in a way like you can't tell a computer did it, and it's optimized for local SEO. So it's like, hey, any reviews you have existing, any new ones that come up, boom, we'll come in, we'll automatically write the reply for you. It'll help you with rankings. It'll also let your customers know, like, hey, you actually care.
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, yeah, it's like a full-time thing. And depending on where you're at, right? If you're 6 million or 60 million in revenue or 600,000 in annual revenue, um, the problem's bigger as you grow, right? Um, so yeah.
Yeah, it gets even worse. And that's awesome because a lot of people don't realize that. They're like, "Oh, I got a 5-star." They think they only have to respond to the bad ones. Well, no, no, no. You got to respond to the good ones too. Thank you. We appreciate your business. Thank you so much for leaving us a 5-star rating. You have to respond to all of them. I talk to some people and they're like, "Oh, well, the ones I really worry about are the bad ones." Or people say, "Oh, I don't worry about the bad ones, only the good ones." And I'm like, "No, like you sadly you got to worry about all of them."
It's so like, we've hired a lot of our staff has come from various like reputation management software companies in the space, and like their MO is, oh, just get new reviews to bury your negative ones, right? Because that's the hard thing. The hard thing is, say, how do you remove those negatives? But it's also like the fastest way to it's like the fastest way to help boost your average star rating, right? So like our whole thing is, hey, do that hard part, like we'll handle the hard part, we'll help you get the new reviews too and write all the replies, but like, um let's knock this hard part out. Right, so yeah, yeah, so
That's sweet. I'm sorry, somebody said they have a book. Um, Mr. Haja, I'm not sure if saying your name right. Yeah, man, definitely send me a copy if you email me HVAC Uncensored at gmail.com because I can't get the other ones to work still. Um, I'll give you my P.O. box, man, and you're more than welcome to send me a copy. I'll take it, buddy. Thank you. Rookie put it in the chat. You can do it right there. Um, Yeah, and it's so true. And you know, like I said, if we had to pick one thing, like yes, we tried to build, and granted, this was already Ryan, you know, my good buddy and the owner of this company. He created it, and I came and helped him run with it. But it was the culture that he created, a place where good people wanted to work, and then reviews. I would say that's the two biggest things that catapulted our growth. Um,
Mhm.
uh, was the reviews, and it sucks some of these bad ones because as the general manager of the company, you know, my job is to protect the reputation of the company. You know, so I
Mhm.
have to make sure that all those reviews are taken care of. That's why I told you I can't wait to hear more about this because it may be something that we need. I know that we use a review service, I think, to help us like get reviews as far as sending them links, but I want to say that one of the girls in our office is actually one of the ones that replies to every single one of them. Um,
Mhm.
I should know that 100%. It's pathetic that I don't, but I do know it's something that we need to make sure that we take care of. So let me ask you this: so now that we know what you do, how have you seen this like really impact these companies? Like, what are they saying? Like, oh my God, you know, my ratings going up. This is so easy. Like, what are they saying as far as what you're offering for them?
Yeah, man. So it's pretty, the impacts are pretty massive, right? So, um, you know, if you just look at like how the average star ratings are calculated, like removing those negatives out of the equation makes it's not an immediate impact because it takes Google, if we're like talking about like Google Maps, it takes them like 2 to 4 weeks to re-index that and recalculate the averages. But it makes a huge impact on the average star rating. If you like, don't do anything else but remove the negatives, that makes a difference, right?
Yeah,
So that's one like immediate thing. And then like the replying to reviews, like I hate to say this, like, but it like, and this is sort of the, oh, AI is taking jobs away, and it's, I'll tell you what, it's making the lives of a lot of like office managers a hell of a lot easier because they don't need to manually go in and do this stuff. And you know, Gil, earlier on we were talking about like time management, like how
yeah,
can you buy back more of your time, right? And look, there's better uses of time than to have to deal with this and like typing review replies and stuff. But if you don't do it, you're penalized for not doing it. If you do a bad job at it, because your customers get notified when you reply to their review, they're like, okay, Gil doesn't give a damn about me, right? So it has to be like it's an important thing,
or
right? It's
generic,
like, yeah,
copy and
it
paste.
can't be, you can't copy paste it, man, you know, and I'm sure the gal in your office isn't copy pasting, you
No,
know. So yeah, so ours is, and I could get into the details of like how we use like the Chat GPT and other ways like you guys can all use it in your business for different stuff.
yeah,
But you know, how we prompt it makes each one so unique. Like no two replies look the same, and like you know, one of our customers is this. They got a handful of locations in Idaho. It's right now heating and air, and like they're crushing it. But I we've done like I think 4 or 5 thousand review replies for them, which is crazy, right?
yeah.
And each of them is like unique, and but that's meaningful because at that scale, like you're re-engaging with those customers too. Um, so yeah, yeah.
That's yeah. That's awesome, man. 5,000. That's a lot. Um, let me look. I know we get sometimes where like when people see a 5.0, they almost think it's not real. You know what I mean? So sometimes a
Yeah, man.
4.9 is just as, you know, just as good because people are like, oh, okay, well, they're really, really good, but they're not perfect. They're not faking something, you know? Um, but go ahead, like please. Oh, so hold on. Somebody asked, Miss Jennifer Manzo. She is the one of the co-hosts of another podcast. Says, should you reply to every review as an owner?
Um, hey, so Jennifer, just like a clarifying question on that. So like, should you as the owner reply to them, or should you have like a staff member reply under your account as owner, or just like in general, should we reply to all of them?
Got to clarify
In
the question, Jennifer.
Gotta clarify here. So
They said you look like Paul Walker.
Thanks, thanks. I'll try not to fly down the freeway here in a Porsche.
So she said,
Um,
should the company, so not her, should the company.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, Jennifer, somebody, yes, definitely somebody should. Couple reasons for this, right? Like one, it allows like other people that are looking at the business, say, oh, hey, Jennifer's company, they actually give a damn about us. Like they care about customer service. They're replying, right? It also like validates the review, makes the review look more legit, right? Which is a big thing. The other thing that's kind of the sneaky part about like Google's algorithm for local search is they play a little bit of favoritism to those companies that reply to the reviews. Another little trick with that is if in your review reply you write include your business name, the services you offer, and the location in which you offer them. This is big for local businesses, right? Um, Throw that into each one. Don't do it in a way that's like, oh, super spammy or super generic. They got to be kind of unique, but weave that into every reply. That helps you boost and come up in those local searches. If you look at like the geo mapping of this stuff on Google Maps, just in searching for like HVAC or plumbing in my area or whatever, that helps and that comes up. So yeah, that does make a difference. Um, yeah.
I
Yeah.
figured it would be. And if you can keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, no, man. No, you're good. You're good.
Oh,
I was gonna say, like, yeah, it's great. It's just a pain to do that manually to all of them, So like our tech that can do that like automatically. Um, yeah,
I'll
yeah, all good.
and please, you know, go into as much detail as you want about how it works. I know that some of the things may go over some of our heads, or at least mine, but I think it's good for them to understand like what exactly is taking place, to understand the value of what you guys are really offering.
Yeah, no, so there's a couple things, right? If you go back to like, okay, the review replies, how do we use AI to do that? Like that's important, that's meaningful. Jennifer, the things I covered there, like that like sums it up in that regard. But the main thing that we're trying to solve here is like we just want businesses to be like accurately and fairly displayed online, right? Kind of like growing up for us. I don't know if you guys see this in your businesses, but in our particular case, like not only did we have like customers leaving super unfair reviews, or like somebody may get a quote for something and then not even really get your service and be like, oh yeah, the tech was an ass or whatever, right? Um, or like we see this sometimes too. It's like, oh, the just unreasonable stuff, right? Oh, the tech showed up 20 minutes late, blah blah blah. Like that's not an accurate or a fair description of the business. Like that's like you never had like services really rendered, right? But that can tear your rating down,
Yeah.
you know, and that can definitely deter somebody from seeing from coming to your business. So we're like, that's a problem that every business has. We see this one thing a lot in HVAC are people complaining about scheduling. That's like a super common thing here, that we see, and it's an easy one for us to remove. And we add all that stuff into our model that says, hey, like, is this a legitimate review or not? Great. If not, why? And then we work with Google, Yelp, and the other review sites to programmatically dispute them. And then we retrain our model. So like our model uses machine learning to retrain itself. Well, it doesn't retrain itself. Like we have to retrain it, and it gets smarter and more predictive over time
Hmm.
as we go. So the more data in, and then what's the output, and then the model gets retrained and becomes more precise on knowing, hey, is this online review a legitimate one or not, right? And what's the likelihood of us being able to remove it? And then what the hell does that mean for you guys running businesses? Well, how is that going to accurately display you online and increase your average star rating? Because that's what really matters,
Yeah.
right? So, and what's the bottom line? right? What's the bottom line on that? Like how much more money or customers you're going to be able to get? Or like in the case of the review replies, how much more likely are you to come up in those searches when people are trying to find you online? And with local search, it's often just Google Maps, you
Yeah,
know?
we get so many calls. Hey, we found you because of your reviews. Like I can't tell you how many times we get that. When you were talking, one of the ones that pisses me off that people leave and they make themselves sound so stupid is I had a 12 to 4 window and the guy showed up at 12:30. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a 12 to 4 window. So, yeah, he came at 12:30. Like, he wasn't supposed to be there at 12. That's why it's a 4-hour window. Um, but but some of those and knowing that we can get them taken down. And it's good that you say that because I would love to know the process of that because a lot of people think like, oh, getting a review removed, even if it's like 100% like clear as day shouldn't be there. People think it's like it's so hard and they think it's not, I know I should remove it, but I don't have the time or the headache to worry about it?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, it's a process. Like, so, first step is like identifying what the issues are with the reviews, right? And it may not be like what may on the surface seem obvious, like may not be what actually works with the review sites and getting them removed, you know? Like we look and know statistically, like depending on what the review is, and what the contributor profile is, what the review is, like what is most likely to remove it, like what terms of service violation. And if you look at the violations and then the combinations thereof, there's like tons of them, right? And the process we call it, it's like a sequence where we initially flag the review, and then that gives us a case ID with the review site, which then essentially says, okay, great. Now we can take this case ID and we can we have an opportunity to present our case to a human being at the review site. To be honest with you, they have, like in the case of Google, they have a big department in India, but each time we escalate the review challenge, we call it, it's a different person on that team reviewing it. And like, Gil, I don't know about you, man, but if you ask me something today, depending on how I'm feeling, I may answer it one way. You ask me the same thing tomorrow, you may get a totally different response, you know? So some of it is like, sure, it's the argument and articulating the argument and why the reviews are legitimate should be removed, but then it's also just persistency, right? And like retrading with them over and over again. And with like if you do this manually, let's say there's like 20 reviews, all right, and you do this manually over and over and over again, it's a ton of time, man. Like it's a crazy amount of time for a human being to spend doing it. So like, okay, we do it with technology, and we do it to the tune of like hundreds of thousands of reviews consistently, and more than that. So yeah, that's the whole process in a nutshell.
That's pretty awesome. And like I said, I reviews are so important and I know that AI is the future. Like we use a service now called Chirp that has AI that automatically responds back to like they'll message in and it automatically responds back to them. And what AI does and how it spits it back, it's crazy because when he came on the podcast to talk about it, I was messaging him like, "Oh, hey, about the time," and his AI was what was responding back to me, and I didn't even know it. And I'm like, "It's fucking awesome," because that's what you want. You want those, like you were saying, it's articulates those responses that you don't know that it's a computer doing it, and it's amazing, and it really can save time because even at us, like we don't want to have a whole bunch of office personnel. Like obviously we want to provide a 5-star service and be at the top of our game and compete with other companies, but if we can be efficient in how we do things and get things like this taken care of and controlled, and those people in the office can now do something else, well guess what, they can make more money. We don't need to hire another person to take care of this. You know what I mean? So it's beneficial all around the board. Maybe now I can give a raise to one of the techs or whatever. It kind of it works its way out in the long run.
Yeah, yeah. No, and that's a big thing. Like everybody right now is talking about, oh, like AI is taking the jobs over. And it's like, well, but we apply it like this, or like chirp in the case of like conversational AI, right? Which is like now available, now an option with like these larger language models, right? Um, it's like in this case, like it's maybe not, and it's not taking that job over, right? Like you'll still need some sort of like guidance, somebody to oversee it, but that person is able to operate like we call in their zone of genius, right? But like essentially they're able to do shit that's more meaningful for them, right? That like they can get more output and like help the business generate more revenue by doing this thing rather than like, you know, typing away at a computer, you know?
Yeah, it's less
Um,
time. Like we saw it saving time. I'm sorry, when you said that, all I could think of real man of genius. That when the way you
yeah,
said
okay,
that with
yeah.
the sorry, my mind went elsewhere.
That's good.
Um,
No, it's all good. Yeah, like HVAC Riggy's question, the price of this. So like we're just software as a service, right? So it's like our plans depend on, and then we're run a special for the pod, of course, but it's like anywhere from, 200 a month to, depending on what you need, right? And it's all like a la carte. So it's like, hey, I just want review, dispute, and review removal. Great, that's one thing. I want that plus review reply. It's another thing. So yeah, it's all like an a la carte, whatever you need kind of thing. And we like sort of quote it. We like have a calculator. We can talk more about that. But
yeah,
sorry, saw the question.
Jesus,
Sorry.
rookie, you don't ask people how much their product costs. It's like asking a woman how old she is. You son of a bitch, Jesus. It's like, yeah, no, most of things like this, there's not a cookie cutter because it's based on what they do. A lot of the other services that we use are the same way. Plus, it makes sense because it's something that you want someone to call and get a demo and really know the ins and the outs before they buy it. It's not just, oh, here, I'll take your money and, give us your logins or something like that, Let me ask you this. What is the average? Is there an average time as far as getting one of these removed? Like 2 months, 2 years, 2 days, 2 weeks? Like, what are we looking at?
Yeah, good question. So like initially, like we'll be able to get some removals within the first like 30 to 60 days. Um, there are some that are going to be more challenging to remove that require a lot more retraining, right? That require a lot more we call like escalated challenges. And those are sort of the like edge cases where, I mean, we all kind of know, is that sort of a legitimate review or not? I don't know. But like those are the ones we continue escalating. And those are just like matters of persistence, it just takes more work to get those removed.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So
He said, that's why I said average cost.
you
I
saw
get it.
that. Yeah, it's all
Just
good.
busting your
All
bubble.
good.
Um, well, so let me ask you, so what all markets are you just in the trades? Are you in all the markets? Like, what have you guys expanded to? Because I know you said you've only been around for a few years, right? But you've kind of taken off.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. So like when we started this, my big thing was like, hey, I want to be able to help small businesses out, like that was all like that was all my life, man. That's like all we did growing up, and like um growing up in that like SMB world, like okay, I always thought, oh, the bigger brands have this stuff figured out, right? Um, like, oh, the bigger brands, they got this all figured out. They don't need this. Like I want to help. I want this technology to help the local businesses out that have to compete with these larger corporations. Um, in our space, so like we own like an independent auto shop growing up, right? And there's all these big auto shops like Caliber, Collision, Gerber. I don't know if you guys are familiar with any of these brands, Crash Champions, and they were like killing our business, like crushing our margins. Um, and so we built this, and we initially sought out to help the local businesses out. And we're in like a lot of different verticals, like home services, a huge vertical for us, automotive, and automotive is big for us. A little bit of medical and hospitality is big, restaurants and stuff. Um, you could imagine hospitality, but what we found is the bigger brands, they suffer from this as well, right? They don't have this figured out. This is a problem they run into all the time. right? So, we're working with like, single location owner operators to like 1,000 location, um, like, huge companies, but primarily North America. And we have, we're close to 10,000 locations on our platform right now.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just funny, man, like go to try to solve this little problem, what we think is like a smaller problem for local businesses, but it's bigger than that.
That's yeah, it really is huge, and I get it. Somebody asked, I mean, I already answered the question, but they said, um, can you guys take down, or what is it, fake reviews? And I think you already, yeah. Can they tell if it's a bogus or fake review? I think you already said that. I said yes, they can, but I guess if you want to answer it,
Yeah, yeah. So it's really like a couple things. Like one is look at like the contributor profile, right? Like the reviewer themselves, like what's their review history? Where are they located relative to the business they're reviewing? Could they have left positive sentiment on what we could deem as a competing business? Around the same time frame they left a negative review on yours. Like those are all factors we look at. Um, and then all their data in their Google reviewers contributor profile. Those are all like little data points for us. And then, the review text itself, like a lot of the stuff you can tell if it's written by a bot or not. You can tell, hey, I mean, we're in the US, right? Like, was it written by somebody who's, English is a second language, right? Like how they're spelling things. Could they maybe be like a hired hand? Like they have these, right?
yeah.
Like, where, you can hire somebody from, overseas to write negative sentiment on your competitor. Like we see it all the time.
Yeah, no, we've seen it. Like there's and I'm not saying this to be disgraceful towards a certain nationality, but I know there's like the Indian call centers where they Philippines, where they can be call
Mhm.
centers, or you can hire them to do exactly what you just said. It's literally like websites for it. And it's kind of crazy that it's just out there. Like, isn't it illegal? But it's not. Or if it is, people do it. It's kind of crazy how people do that. And it sucks it happens, I feel like I don't need to build our business by tearing somebody else down if we do the right things, but sadly that happens every single day.
Yeah, yeah. No, it does, man. And that's a whole business. Like it's a whole business in and of itself is like this, like, leaving negative reviews, competitors. Like you could even do like there's like gig economy marketplace called Fiverr, FIVERR.com, if anyone's unfamiliar, Fiverr.com.
They made
And
my
you could even just type, what's that?
they made one of my logos.
Okay, yeah. There's
Y-
great talent on there, man. Like we have a lot of people we started as contractors on Fiverr that are full time with us now, right? So it's great. But you could even just type into Fiverr like write bad reviews or write reviews. And I think if you type write reviews into Fiverr, you can see like a number of gig workers that are offering that as a service in somewhat of a discreet way. I think Fiverr has like a very loose policing of that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's out there. In my world, like in my personal world growing up, like we had one of our competitors down the street, son, who was my age, like we were like the same age growing up, like I knew he was always leaving bad reviews on us. And so it's like, yeah, it happens. It definitely happens.
Yeah, it's fight fire with fire. Like, yeah, well, this guy's a son of a bitch and their place sucks. Click. Um,
Yeah.
So, well, let me ask you this. Let's just say the what if. So, say Beltway, my company, we sign up with you and we get like your full package, everything. I would ask like, what is the communication that we have with the company? Like, how often do we need to have it? Or if, like you said, a lot of times you'll reach out to us before we even know. How does that process work?
Yeah, so like what I learned in, my personal experience growing up in like the small business, like small businesses, like my folks at least like were so busy as owner operators, like they didn't want to have to log in and manage and do all this stuff. And so Our motto is like reputation automation, right? So it's like, um, you don't need to log in, like you don't need to do anything really, right? And the process is like this. So we load all your reviews into a dashboard. You have a really nice dashboard. You can view all your reviews from different sites, manage them, etc. But we automatically dispute any negatives in there and do that consistently. Any new ones that come in, we notify you. We already start the dispute process. Any existing reviews you have, we write all your replies for you all automated, in a way that's also optimized for local SEO. Any new reviews that come in, we do the same thing for any new ones. So you get a report from us. You could do it weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, and it's kind of like your digest. And it's like just a check and balance. Hey, like Dandy's doing like what they're supposed to be doing. So there's that. One thing with that we found to work really well in this industry is we have this like QR code feature where like it's like a QR code that anybody can scan to leave their experience. And it's like, oh, if it's a positive sentiment, great. Then we will text them and encourage them to share their experience online on Google usually. If it's negative, we want to make sure that like you are getting that feedback, right? Like, hey, if a tech is not doing a great job, like okay, like you want to know before it
Yeah.
turns into a problem. And we found like the companies in this space that do this well gamify it with their texts, and so they print out these QR code experience surveys from our dashboard and they put them on little cards, and each tech can have their own. And it's an easy way to get new positive reviews in and to get like some genuine experience to know like what's going on in the field, like really what's going on in the field without like it having a negative impact on the reputation, right? Um,
Yeah.
so there's that, man. I mean, we integrate with like Service Titan, so you can like we can automate review requests via SMS and email. Um, that's a whole thing. And then our whole crew's in the US, right? So we started this in the beginning of COVID. So it's like a lot of our team's remote. We're in Irvine, California, but you have like a live onboarding, you have a customer success manager. We have phone support. Like people like to talk, they want to call in. So you can call in and you'll talk to the same handful of people every time on the support side. And we don't like have a call center or anything. It's all internal, and I think our customers like that, like
Yeah.
like they actually want to speak to somebody who maybe they've spoken to before.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Well, besides getting on, an award-winning, very large podcast like my own, how do you guys promote? Like, how do you advertise? Like, how are people finding out about Dandy or getdandy.com?
Yeah, so some of it's word of mouth, some it's word of mouth, some of it is through like partners. So we do work with like a number of like marketing agencies and other partners, of various forms. Like if it's like other software companies, so some software companies white label our technology to power what they're doing. And we're just now starting to do a little more outreach. Like my whole thing is like I just want to make sure businesses know that this exists because this is like a huge problem. Like it's a tremendous problem that we're solving. And if it makes sense for the business or brand to work with us, awesome. If not, like just know, hey, this is here in the event that like you feel like you need it and you think it can add value to your business. Um, because man, before we came around, it was like there was like one or two companies doing the review removal stuff, and they're charging anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 bucks to remove a review because they have like 100 people in India trying to do it, and it was just a mess. So we're like the first ones to really apply technology to this thing, and in doing that, you can bring the prices down. You can offer this to more people, and like help solve this problem like little by little.
Yeah, and like we said, it's definitely a huge problem because I feel like most of the review related companies that we hear about, they don't do what you're doing. All they are is, oh, we'll link up and we'll send a link to your company. Cause I think that we use one. We'll make sure that your customers get a link to make sure that you get reviews, which that's great. But a lot of these CRM softwares now, or these field service managers or whatever the hell they call them now, a lot of that's built in. Not that it's not good, and it's awesome that you still have something like that that you can do, but I feel like once you get a process down on getting reviews, that some of those, at least a lot of the business owners I talk to, it's you can justify not doing it. But something like this, you can justify why you should have it. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? Because we all deal with it. I don't care what size you are, like you said, whether you're 600,000 or 60 million, all of us have this issue at some level or another.
Yeah, yeah, and like to your point, like that's all become commoditized. Send a text message for this and that, like, oh, how was your experience? And you know, in like from like from like a technical perspective, like building a platform like that is like crazy easy. Like it's absurdly easy compared to what we had to build to for what we're doing right now, right? Is like an order of magnitude difference, right? So if we act like, okay, why do the other companies not do this? Because it's like a way harder problem to solve. And there aren't like all these publicly available APIs, and like there isn't like a rule book or like a guide instruction manual that says, oh, you want to build this, this is exactly what you need to do. And then when it comes to building technology, like a lot of this stuff is saved and then open sourced,
Mhm.
so another company can come and just do the exact same thing, you know um so so yeah, man, it's just like it was a way bigger problem and like a way more challenging problem to solve because there aren't open APIs for it. And it's sort of this battle, man, because like the review sites, they want more reviews. Take it like look at Yelp, for example. Okay. Yelp wants you to have negative reviews because then they have a reason and a way to leverage point to try to sell you more advertisements. Right.
That's
So, we're like, we don't like feel like we need to play nice with all the review sites, and like our customers are the business owners, like we're building technology to help them out, not to like make sure we're like a Yelp preferred partner or whatever, right? So um we're kind of attacking this thing at a little bit of a different angle. And I think on like that the tech side, Haji has a question. Is this our only AI tool, or do we have a stack of them? So like this is so we have like essentially two. It's sort of like we have like sort of like two silos of like AI tools that we've built internally. The first is the scoring of the online reviews, retraining that model, and then writing what we call challenge text or articulating the challenge text to the review sites, right? And so that gets retrained, and then separately is the writing of the review replies, um, which we have our own AI rephraser tech that we built, and then Chat GPT came about and essentially opened their API for engineers. So like we're using like Chat GPT 4, we're on their beta tests and stuff for a while before it came out, and so we're using a lot of their language models now, because to be honest with you, they're more sophisticated than what we were able to build internally, right?
yeah.
So we take that in, we still customize it with our little data points that are meaningful because it's like a unique use case. Um, but yeah, I mean that stuff's powerful out there, yeah, it's pretty wild what that can do,
Yes, some of the ones that I've seen with some of this AI stuff, like there's ones that I can just drop the podcast in and it literally spits out short videos and captions them. And, just talking about AI technology in general. And I know that I don't know the half of it, but just watching videos on some of these things of what AI can do it's crazy. It's almost scary what AI can do as far as like we're gonna have the Terminator days of like robots taking over the world. But you have to use this kind of stuff in your business. You have to stay ahead, like we said. So I think stuff like this is amazing. That's why I love that we did this podcast so people know that things like this exist and can help you. Like, it's like we tell our customers, we have to talk to them to find out what their problems, what their pain points are to see if we can offer options to be able to help correct them. Something like this, we may all have this pain point, but we didn't even know that there was something out there that could take care of it or make it easier for us. And now we know because,
Mhm.
I think this is awesome. Like, I'm interested, like, to the point where, like, I really think this is something that we need as far as the way that we're growing and the way our reviews come in as something to take care of it. So I think this is pretty awesome, man. Like, good shit.
Yeah, no, happy. Yeah, no, thanks, man. Yeah, that's why, dude, our whole thing is like we just want to get the word out, because like most of the times it's like, oh, I didn't know that existed, or I didn't know like anybody could do that, and um, so yeah, yeah, no, we're just happy to get the word out. The If you guys do you guys have in Google Maps they have there's like a new feature like chat. Like do you guys ever have you ever turned that on? The Google
No,
Maps chat feature?
no.
Check it out. Check that out. And I'd be curious to see. I know some of our customers have turned it on. I don't know if anybody else here has that on for their business, but like straight right through Google Maps, businesses like customers can chat with you now. It's like, is it noise or is it like actually going to help? So many people don't want to call in and they don't want to go to your website, right? So I'd be interested if you guys take a peek at that. Let me know what you get from it.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out because I know, like, even like with some of the stuff they're getting now with this voice activated stuff, Haji said, at Gill, AI has always been here, ATM, Alexa, Siri, Netflix suggestions, stuff like that, but you can go up to these things and be like, hey, book me a haircut appointment at such and such, or hey, Amazon reorder whatever. So it's crazy the technology, and I love seeing technology come into our space because let's be honest, especially in the trades, we know that a lot of technology stuff is going other places. But people realizing that the trades and the small business owners, like, that they're kind of the heartbeat of this country, and the
Mhm.
more that we can help them and give them the tools to be successful, it helps everybody in the long run. Not trying to get like political or anything, but you had made that kind of statement earlier in the show about helping the small business owners, and I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, 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 dude. It's just like if there's a way you can use some of the stuff to buy your time back, like be more efficient, man, by all means use it, And there's a ton of different ways to apply it. Like it's interesting you guys are using, was that Chirpy, the conversational AI? It's like a chat bot, right? Or Chirp?
Yeah, chirp. Yeah, yeah. It's yeah, so we actually use that as communication with our customers. They'll respond in, it automatically goes to chirp. It's a AI response to them, and then at some point a girl in our office can take over the conversation. Um but sometimes it can like automatically book appointments. It puts them in a certain category, whether it's sales related, service related. It's really really cool. It's helped us a lot cut down on like the BS communication, where somebody's wasting time for somebody that wants a generic answer. How do I book a maintenance? Oh, you can call this number or go to our website and book online. Nobody has to sit there and get it, type that. It just automatically spits it out. But it looks real. Like you said, AI, it looks like somebody actually said it. And I know some people are like, well, how can you tell? Like, just like how you phrase things, and you know what I mean? That you can tell like it's a person and it's not like, please, blah blah blah. Like you can tell when some of the bot things pop up.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like, well, yeah, you know, conversational, right? It's like, I mean, in that use case though, what like I'd say 80% of those prompts or those questions that are asked are going to be super simple,
Yeah.
right? It's like, hey, do you guys service this area? Or hey, can somebody come do this? Can you fix this or whatever,
Yeah.
you
What time
know?
do you close? Bink.
Yeah.
It just pops up. That's another thing we found out. It's not really you, but just talking about Google and stuff in general is, a lot of people when they start, they think they want to put down that, hey, we're open 24 hours. But if you're not open 24 hours, you're better off saying that, hey, we're open from 7 to 7, because those hours you're not there. If somebody goes and does something and gets no reply, it actually hurts you on, the GLSA and stuff like that. So don't
Mhm.
just say you're 24 hours if you're not, because if nobody's answering the phone and things aren't happening, you're hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself. We learned that, and I was like, shit. Like I wish I'd known this sooner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's like, yeah, you can't be an expert in all these different things, you know?
Yeah, and it's crazy the people that are experts when, you think you know enough, I know enough to be dangerous, um, and people, even like in your space, and you learn people that really know those spaces, and some of the things they tell you, it's just like, man, I didn't think people dug that deep into it, but I guess it really does. It really does make sense. So yeah, it's awesome. I love this, man. I'm kind of nerding out on this. Just because like I said, I know how important reviews are to us and to our growth, and how we watch them like a hawk. And as much as we praise, like, hey, so and so got a 5-star review, like I have what's called a fuck yeah thread with all the texts that I'll be like, hey, you know, whatever the name, so and so got this 5-star um uh Google review, and be like, fuck yeah, and everybody just responds back, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of been my thing since I got into management. Um but it's awesome. But at the same time, those other ones that come in, I mean, they cause me a lot of sleepless nights because it means the world to me. I am bald for a reason, it's
Yeah, if so, those good ones are the fuck yeah thread. What are the bad ones? Where did those ones go? Right? Yeah.
Yes. To be honest, normally we don't put like to be honest, we like to do like praise in public. Anything that's bad,
Yep.
we'll do in private. So I don't put the bad ones in there. It's only the good ones. Because I most of our guys and girls, none of them are deserving a bad review. And if they do get it, they'll call me like, hey, Gil, like I fucked up on this call. Like the
Yeah,
customer got
happens.
mouthy and I lost my cool. I'm sorry. Like, so I'll know about it in advance. So normally when those bad ones come in, it's deal with it. I reach out to them. I talk to them personally. A lot of times people having a bad day and I can fix it there, or I have to do the whole, hey, why don't I refund some of the stuff today? Or I'll refund your service today. And why don't you give us another chance? Because I know that this is just a bad experience. And I know that we can
Mhm.
make you a lifelong customer of us, something like that, because I'm trying to protect the reputation, and it sucks. I don't want to have to do that, but I'm thinking in the future. I'm not thinking about the now. Sometimes you got to take a bite of that shit sandwich. Doesn't taste good, but in the long run, it pays off.
Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are, yeah, the win backs,
Yep.
right? Yeah. Yep.
Yep. I always say it's like with the customers, it's hot potato. As soon as they pass it back to you, you gotta whoop right back to you. You know what I mean? And the more you give it to them, the more they're gonna start to simmer down, and the more they're gonna, start to give in. Sometimes it's not just what you say; it's how you say it, and just being able to de-escalate and show a little kind of humility. Sometimes some people are just having a bad day, and you got the brunt of it. Um, and sometimes that's what these reviews are. But if you never call and address it and talk to the people like they're a human being, and like, hey, I'm really sorry you're having a bad day. We definitely didn't want to be part of your bad day. Well, I was hoping that we could brighten your day up. I'm sorry that didn't happen. Things like that. Just talking to them, it's amazing how people are like, you know what? Actually, Gil, your guy was great, man. It's been a fucked up week for me. My dog got hit by a car or something. You know what I mean? And a lot of times they'll
Yeah.
go take it and change it, but then you get other people that they don't answer the phone, or fuck
Hmm.
you, Gil. You know what I mean? I want all my money back, or I want to keep leaving you 1-star reviews. You know what I mean? It's just there's all different kind of aspects to it. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a good element there too is like they're seeing you, like they're reaching out to you, they're getting your services because they have a problem with something, right? Most of the time, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's always, kind of like in auto you see that too, right? Especially in like repair or auto body or collision repair, right? So like they're not coming at you just because they're happy with something, or they're looking for like a positive experience. It's like, oh, this pain in the ass thing has happened to me. Now I need it fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's normally, especially nowadays, people don't want to spend money, and when they have to, they're not always happy about it. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful how you say. Like, we had one of our guys. He's not here anymore. He moved states, but very, very nice guy. But he had a problem when he was nervous. He would smile. So he'd be giving bad news to customers, like, your system's broken. It's gonna cost like $7,000 to fix it, and people are like, "What the fuck's so funny, man?" He's like, no, nothing's funny. And I'm like, dude, like you have to learn to fix that, dude, or somebody's gonna beat the shit out of you. Like, I know you can't help it, but it'd be funny when he would do that. Like, yeah, it's gonna cost $6,000 to fix it. I'm so sorry, it's gonna happen. Um, But yeah, that was funny. We have inside jokes about that. He was a good kid though. He couldn't help it. He really, really couldn't help it. It was just kind of like a nervous twitch. But
Hmm.
some of the calls that I would get, I was able to correct most of them for the most part. But damn, were they comical. I go back and listen to the recording sometimes. It's that funny.
That's great. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but we're at an hour, man. So I don't want to keep you too long. You start making these audio podcasts too long, guys start wrecking vans and shit. So, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you would like to mention before we start to close it out?
No, I mean, like insofar as like, oh, hey, like ways to use AI or like how to like reach us if they have any questions
Either
or just
or,
any,
either
oh,
or. Yeah.
either or. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think like think about like 'cause you guys are all, if you're running businesses or running this, think about different ways to use those tools, right? If it's, okay, how can our system, how can Get Daddy help you? Fantastic. But there's so many different ways to use AI just to like buy back time. If it's 5 minutes here, an hour here, like there's so many different ways. We touched on over a handful of them today. I think as it relates to like, hey, if you want to see how like our tech can help your business, help your brand, you can visit us at www.getdandy.com, getdandy.com. You can do /pod, and we'll give you all like a free like consult and like audit of everything and show you exactly like how we would be able to help. That's getdandy.com /pod. And yeah, and then we also, if you mention that you're on the pod, you do a call with one of our review specialists. If you do choose to sign up, then we have a discount for anybody that's um, referred to us from Gil. So okay,
Nice. See, I'm always helping you guys. See, I don't give you
yep,
anything. Look at this. That's awesome, man. Well, Alex, I want to thank you so much for coming on, man. Like I said, when I heard what, like, and I didn't know completely what you did, but, learning more about it, I think it's awesome. And I think that, a lot of people need to find out and know about this. I hope that this spreads to word to people. I know that I'm going to say something about it. I know that I'm interested because this is something that is a pain point for business owners, whether you're in the trades, like you said, you're a restaurant, you're a whatever it is, a bar. I don't know, whatever it is, this is a legitimate thing that is needed. So I think it's awesome that you and your team came up with this service because it's definitely needed. So good shit, and thank you for doing that, and thank you for taking the time to come on here with me tonight, man. I can't thank you enough.
Gil, I appreciate your time, man. This was a pleasure. Nice chatting with you. Hopefully, this was helpful and adds value to your audience.
Yeah, for sure. I know it will, man. If you want to hang tight, I'll give me 5 minutes to close this out, and we'll keep chatting.
Cool.
All right, buddy. All right, guys. Obviously, I want to thanks Alex for coming on. I think that was awesome, man. And I know some of you are technicians, and maybe you don't, understand the value or see it. But maybe you understand reviews and you see it with your company. If you're residential, maybe some of the commercial companies, it's a little different versus reviews. But in the residential market, like it is huge, man. Like it's a make or break. A 1-star review can cripple you. It really can. And you start getting a couple more and a couple of more, like it can really, really F things up for you. Um, that's not what you want when somebody is searching for your business to see that at the top. And especially imagine something's hurting you and it's not even real. Knowing that that can be addressed, it can be taken care of, it can be taken down. Like I said, a lot of us, I didn't know until recently that they can even be removed. I thought you were just SOL. So we're learning, we're educating, trying to make ourselves better. And guys, take advantage of some of these services. Like, Jen is in here. There's other business owners. Like, there's so many things. Grant, I'm not a business, well, I am a business owner, just not an HVAC business owner, but there's so many things in the business that you have to take care of on a daily basis. If you can help automate or take some of those things off your plate, at least 90%, and now you only got 10% of it to do. It's amazing how many more things you can get done. We cover the whole time management part. And to be honest, it's saving you time and it's getting done, and it's getting done way better and efficiently if you ever just took care of it 100% by yourself. You know what I mean? So definitely something to think about. You guys should definitely go to Get Dandy. So that is going to be Get and then Dandy, invaluable.com. Mr. Rookie, can you put that in the chat for me, my friend? Get Dandy, so GETDANDY, getdandy.com in the chat. And remember, and he said, if you do /pod, if you go there and you tell them that you heard it on the HVAC Uncensored podcast, they'll give you a free consultation and they'll hook you guys up for being a friend of mine. So that's very, very awesome of them. We appreciate that. Guys, I'll close this out, man. Like I said, an awesome week with BLUON. More stuff to come. I thank you guys for being here tonight. Make sure that you check out all my friends. The show's coming up. We got HVAC Overtime coming Friday. Saturday, we got the Misfits with Miss Jennifer Manzo and my buddy Ryan Hughes. Man, make sure you're checking out all these shows, man. So many people doing amazing things. I don't know what night Adrian's doing his show. If you guys know Reliable HVACR, what night he's doing his show. I've seen his after the fact. I know he's doing a good job. Support all these people, man. We're a community here. We're all friends. Support each other. I try to watch everybody's shows live as much as I possibly can with a family, work, and other things going on. I hop in for a little bit sometimes, but I try to always watch, comment, and share after the fact because these people have always showed me support, and I'm going to do the same thing to them. But guys, let me start to close this out. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, follow me on all my social media. Download the podcast. If you guys, obviously I'm trying to get plus 3,000 subscribers on here. Trying to get more videos out, help me build up the social media platforms. Thank God the audio downloads is what kind of holds the brunt of this. Also, if you wherever you get your podcast, if you wouldn't mind leaving me a 5-star review, I would greatly appreciate it. Try to get this out to more and more people. If it's not a 5-star review, I tell you to hold up a second. I would love for you to email me personally, HVACuncensored@gmail.com. Let me know what you think. And I'll tell you, like, hey, I'm sorry you feel that way. But let me know. I'm always trying to be better. I'm not a professional radio guy. I've been doing the podcast, but I still learn as I go. So always trying to get better. And I'll take people's feedback as long as you talk to me like a person and don't come off like an asshole. I'll talk to anybody. All you guys that know me know that. All right. Guys, do the little things, all right? Set yourself apart from the next guy, all right? Learn, be better, read a book, listen to a podcast, whatever it is, set yourself apart, all right? Be safe out there, man. We live in a crazy world. We all have somebody to make it home to, all right? Keep your head on a swivel. Pay attention when you're driving. Get off your phone. Listen to the podcast, but sit it down. Listen in AirPods or whatever it is. Just please be safe, all right? Keep getting better. Like my buddy Ben Poole says, HVAC Tactical, master your craft. Keep getting better. Okay, you've never reached the pinnacle. We all have to constantly keep learning, getting better. And then I challenge all of you every week, spread positivity in the world, man. Help somebody. Make somebody else better. I don't care what level you are in the industry. There's always somebody else that you can help. If you're a helper, take a little extra effort that day to be the best fucking helper you've ever been in your life. All right? Like, hey, man, I see that my lead or my whatever is having a bad day today. I'm going to make sure I go out of my way to get what he needs and clean this job site. You know, if you put positivity out, it's what you get back. You put shit into the world, well, guess what? You get shit back. All right? So I thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a great fucking week, and I'll see you mofos next week. All right? Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored Podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored Podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.